The expanding investigation into faulty ignition switches signals a brand new set of issues for General Motors, a company still working overtime to shake off the government Motors label. And now, as congressional hearings are being called, GM is now facing a bit of a public relations crisis to that image. Sandra Ali has been talking with PR experts. And Sandra, the company has to be really careful here about how they step forward.
Oh, absolutely, Devin. You know, GM needs to proceed with caution here when it comes to its message. But, you know, one thing is for sure, the company needs to move fast to reassure the public and keep this investigation from causing serious damage to its brand.
Mary Barra, the GM lifer, now just months into the job as CEO, is caught in the middle of a growing firestorm. It was just a few months ago a swarm of reporters hung on her every word. Her debut at this year's auto show signaling a turning of the page for a company just out of bankruptcy. Now things are much different. Barra is working mainly behind the scenes. Her next moves will be watched and judged very closely. Matt Friedman runs Detroit PR firm Tanner Friedman.
It's important to understand what's probably happening at GM right now. There's a tug of war going on between PR people and legal people, between the PR people and the lawyers to decide how to handle this situation.
The company that's been heralded for months as the new GM is once again fighting to shake off the sins of the past. This latest recall and investigation tarnishing an already fragile public image in the wake of bankruptcy and a government bailout.
They need to provide reassurance to reassure the public that their cars are safe. And they also need to show concern for the people who've been affected by this situation over the last number of years. If they can do those things, they have a chance of being successful in coming out of that.
Few can forget former CEO Rick Wagoner flying to Washington on a GM jet, a PR blunder as the company teetered on the verge of bankruptcy. He later would decide it was more prudent to drive, but now GM has to move fast to make things right.
They need to move quickly. The public has a short attention span, and they need to reach the public with their message, with their story, and what they're going to do about it, really in the next few days, maybe weeks at the longest, if they have any hope of being successful here.
And Devin, as Matt pointed out there, once lawyers get involved here in a situation like this, we all know things can get pretty murky quickly. So we're going to have to watch and see how this all plays out.
It is interesting, though, Sandra, because the GM is offering rebates this month. How does that factor in? That's part of the PR war, too, I guess.
Yeah, it sure is. I mean, they're offering essentially that $500 cash allowance through the end of next month. You know, experts point out, they say it's a right step. It's a smart step in the right direction. But at this point, they think long term, it's really not going to be enough. So they're going to have to come up with something else.
All right, Sandra Ali in our newsroom. Thanks, Sandra.